everyone, and welcome back to our interregional podcast. And if you don't already know, we are the Vietnamese Student Association at the University of Washington Bothell, aka VSA UWB. Let's start off with some introductions. I can go first. So my name is Alexis, my pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I am the co-culture chair of VSA UWB for this academic year. And I can pass it off to Jaron.
Hello, my name is Jaron. I'm one of the Jeffs serving for this academic year, and I will pass it off to Mindy.
Hi y'all, my name is Kathy Vuu, my pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am also the co-culture chair this year. And I'll pass it to our guest, Cathy.
Hello, my name is Kathy Vuu. I go by she, her, hers, and I am the representative guest for this week's podcast.
We're so excited. Okay, so our topic today is self-love. And we actually have an audience question that is perfect to get us started. So what is your own personal definition of self-love?
I feel like self-love can be defined in many different ways. For me, I think this is a broader definition, but self-love is the ways that you take care of yourself and yourself only. And you can do this by doing your everyday things that you enjoy, your passions, your interests, whatever, just to maintain the levels of your emotional, mental, and physical health. That didn't seem broad, but you get the gist, yeah?
That's great. That's a wonderful definition, like straight from the textbook, Kathy. I love it.
It's not like I read textbooks every day, you know.
But yeah, I think I totally agree with Kathy's definition. I think that it's really about just the little things, taking care of yourself. Like for me, it's like brushing my teeth in the morning, like going for a run, like those things. And I think that also in doing self-love things, it also helps me like love other people. So once I take care of myself, I can better love other people.
I totally agree. Like,
Jaron, what's your definition of self-love?
Okay. Well, I mean, it's like you said, I do agree with you. It's like the little things where like you know, try to treat yourself every once in a while. Try to what's the word for this? Like, kind of find ways to lift yourself up, like during those tough times. You know, it's like that stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree. I especially think like even the little things really make an impact, especially during the pandemic. And we're all, yeah, I know everyone's been feeling like really down, at least for me, because you're just more isolated and we're all on Zoom. I want to see you all in person and everything, but over Zoom. So I think taking care of yourself is really important, especially during these times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I feel like because of the pandemic, I recognize the importance of self-love. I remember at the very beginning, like when I started slowly drifted apart from, you know, the outside world. Everyone had to, but I think it was just a new environment that I had to like kind of accept, because I wasn't usually at home. I would always like go out like to school, like to go to work, you know, and just spend time with friends rather than do stuff on my own time. So it was kind of a new experience for me, and I went downhill at first, but then I slowly like gotten the chance to kind of understand what I enjoy on my own, you know. For example, like I love painting. Like last year I learned that the hard way. I was like, man, like drawing and like all the art activities that I could think of, I really enjoy doing on my own. With friends, it's kind of different because like we get to mess around and do whatever. But on my own, I could just plan out what I want to draw or paint, and it's just nice. It's just a nice feeling.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for sharing. You can plug your art account if you want, Kathy.
I forgot. Oh my god, I've been on hiatus for a fat minute because of school.
You actually have one? Oh my gosh.
I do, yeah. It's at Loose Blends. Cause it took me a while to think of a name. Yeah, because I really wanted to start posting my art more during the summer last year. So the name was really hard to think about. Like I had a whole list of like different art puns. And at the end, I decided to do at Loose Blends, because the pun is at loose ends. So I was like, yeah, that works. It's unique and
Yeah, I feel like doing art, even like being able to look at art, would like really help uplift people. So I guess like another question I have is like, what are the other things y'all do for like self-love to help uplift yourself?
I'll go on this one. I guess for me, so I always have like every time I always like I remember like feeling down. I'm not really like up to how I usually am. You know how food is, like you always want to try to treat yourself. So there'll be those days where like I do kind of go ham, but I also try, but mostly fail to set some restrictions.
Wait, so what do you get yourself, Sharon? Like what do you chat out on?
too.
Okay, that's like okay. So you ever so if I like I love Japanese food, right? So I always like to go to like Uwajimaya down in like Bellevue.
Yes.
If I'm ever down in that area, I spent a lot of money on food there. I'm just saying, it's not even funny.
Number one pick, what's the first thing you go for, or the one thing that you always look forward to?
Like when I go there, probably the spam musubis. I'm just saying those things. Like I don't know if y'all like spam, but spam is like it's like my shit. It's my shit right there.
They really pop off in Uwajimaya too. It's like all warm and nice and like a little saran wrap thing.
Yeah, when I try to do it, the reality is so harsh.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Jaren. I totally agree. I think the little pleasures in life, like I'll treat myself to a cookie or like just something sweet. I totally have a sweet tooth, and I like for me too. I've learned that with like my emotions when I'm feeling down, it's just to like feel all the emotions and get it out of my system. And I like, yeah, and the ice cream and the sugar helps. So totally agree.
Yeah, so I guess moving on. So how often do y'all like struggle with self-love or self-confidence?
Let's see. I feel like there's always been times whenever I'm alone, that's the hard part of self-confidence and self-love, because that's typically the time where you think about yourself, and kind of overthink in a way. But I feel like through the small things, for sure. And even though like we keep like saying the small things, they do really make a huge impact, for sure. And I guess that's usually a time when you also discover the small things that you enjoy, so even though you overthink about yourself, and maybe like you're scared that you're not enough in your own life, like that's when you recognize like, no, that's not true, so kind of learning from what you overthink, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Like at night when you're just by yourself and you think over like the day and you're just overthinking, that's what I do all the time. And I just overthink everything I said or did. And again, with like the pandemic, I feel like it caused us to think a lot more about ourselves and like try to like find our own paths, but like not with other people, but also try to find it like as our own person in a way. So In a way, it helped. The pandemic helped a little bit.
Yeah. Even though it was a struggle, we slowly, made it up. Yeah.
I think like echoing all of that, I think snaps to that. I've like, there's like a few realms of like self-love. I think there's like self-confidence, self-esteem, and like also like self-awareness, I think. And yeah, I think a lot of that came from the pandemic too, because like for me personally, I think a lot of what I've learned about myself is that a lot of that like self stuff, like the self-confidence and stuff, it comes from inside of me. And it's like something that only you yourself can really like understand. Like there are like podcasts you can listen to, there are like people who can tell you these things, but until you like really experience it yourself and really like come to know yourself and are aware of yourself and really like feel it, I guess, or like reach that self-confidence. But I also think that it's like kind of like a roller coaster. Like it is like a journey. You don't just reach it and then like you're there. It's like you're constantly changing too.
I totally agree.
No, sorry. I was just gonna emphasize that it does take a fat minute to kind of process everything, but the end result is actually a great feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, and I really liked how you pointed out that like self-love, in a way, you have to like draw a line between like you loving yourself because other people are telling you that they love you or something like that, or like giving you validation, and like in turn you giving yourself validation in a way. I feel like that's totally different, and like yeah, the path to get there is like really, really hard. And once you get there, you still have like those insecurities inside of you, and like you can't always like stay like always like loving yourself and everything. I feel like sometimes like you have to let yourself, you know, fall into those things, like fall into the maybe negative space for a little bit, so then like you can let out your emotions and then you're able to love yourself. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm curious, Jaren, like I know we're all girls and you're outnumbered here, but what is self-love like for you? And like, do you follow the same processes, or can you relate, or is it totally different?
I mean, I could kind of relate a little bit. Like, I would kind of say it's like those negative moments that I would have. It's pretty similar. Like it's mostly for me. It's at like night when you're like you're just vibing. You're just like, damn, like what am I doing? Like what is wrong with me? That kind of thing. But I mean, well, I tend to kind of think it over. I don't know if this applies to everybody, but and then mostly after that, it's like, okay, let me try this, let me try that, you know?
Yeah, thanks for sharing like that self-improvement piece. That's so interesting.
Yeah, I try, but sometimes it you know, it's like, I heard it takes like 21 days to make it into a habit. That's a long 21 days sometimes not successful.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's totally okay, right? We have to be like graceful with ourselves and like just be patient with ourselves too, I think.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So another question people had was, what is your reason for getting up in the morning? kind of deep, but what is your reason for getting up in the morning?
Morning routines. They're very important when it comes to waking up, because after you're done with your own morning routine, and everyone has their own morning routine when it comes to like skincare, maybe workouts, maybe even breakfast, you know? I feel like after you do those things, it's like a sense of, okay, like I'm ready to do whatever, like I'm ready for the world in a way. So what I usually do is my skincare and my shower. That's a necessity when it comes to my morning. I also usually check the mail. It's not like the morning, but usually the mail comes at around noon. So I like to check the mail before doing anything. But afterwards, it's kind of like, okay, so after I'm done with all the things that I needed to do, what is it that I want to do? in a way. It's like that huge transition of, all right, done with that checklist. So let's make up a new checklist of goals that I want to fulfill today, in a way. So it's kind of at like the impact of preparation, like setting yourself to get ready for the whole day.
Yeah. Like once you feel prepared, like yourself, then that's when you feel ready to take the day on.
Yeah, if I don't brush my teeth, for example, like right in the morning, I'm just gonna fall back asleep is the thing. Like,
yeah,
the alarms do not help me anymore. It's just the sense of, okay, I should probably brush my teeth right now. That's my alarm. Like the sense of, yeah, I should do that.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Kathy. I love that. I think that it's like, I think often like self-care is like glorified, but it is really just like setting yourself, what you're saying, like setting yourself up for like success. And I think there's a quote about like purpose, because the question was purpose, right? Like how, like what's your purpose in the morning? And it was like, you give life purpose, not necessarily life gives you purpose. So like giving purpose to those like little things. I think your example was just wonderful.
mm-hmm.
Such a good quote. Whoa, like
I love that quote. But yeah, I think we wanted to talk about what Jaren was saying about the guy's perspective too, right?
Yeah, because I feel like self-love is typically like centered on perspectives of females, and I feel like it's very underrated for males to kind of talk about self-love and self-confidence. And maybe it's because it's a guy thing, you know, like who needs self-love? Like I could give love to someone, you know, like that sense of perspective. So whenever I see like my guy friends kind of talk about self-care, for example, it really makes me think of like, wow, like they're breaking standards for sure, in a way.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like almost stigmatized.
Yes,
I know, Jaren,
exactly.
what's your kind of take on?
So like what so this is like my thing, but like I try to, okay, so how do I say this? I don't really, I do think of self-love, so I try to apply some self-love to myself sometimes, but most of the time I don't, because most of the time I try to at least fill myself with like just a bunch of like positive thoughts, just to get rid of any negative thoughts as much as possible, right? So I'm just kind of going through my day with like all this, so like it's just like I said, like mainly at night, where like, you know, you're just vibing out there, it's just like you just start thinking. It's just like, you know, like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it looks very different, and yet like as humans, like love, like you can't see love, or you just feel it, right? It's like, yeah. So thanks for sharing. Yeah. So interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, it's like we're all feeling the same thing, but like the way everyone else like sees self-love is different, I guess. It's like we were talking about earlier about like the skincare and everything. Like I know that some people are like for some reason weirded out when like guys are doing skincare. Like, oh, like if a guy is like washing his face or something, people will be like, oh, what? Like you're
Whoa.
that's weird. You're taking care of your skin? What? Like it's interesting to see that perspective.
Yeah, it is. And like the guys that are just like, I don't wash my face, I just wash in the shower. Like, wait.
That's true.
Oh my god.
No, I just put lotion on my face. That's kind of all I do after I take a shower. I just call it good after that.
Respect.
That's probably why my skin's trash, but it's okay. It's okay.
It's okay. It's all good. I kind of want to go back to like the self-confidence kind of thing. Like, when have you felt the most confident? Like, what is a time in your life where you felt like so confident and you're like, I am on top of the world, like I got this? And like, how did you get to that point? or like what prepared you for that point?
I have to think about this.
Yeah. I think the one thing that gives me self-confidence to start out is photo shoots. So I tend to do photo shoot before the pandemic happened. I would always do like fun photo shoots with like different concepts, like and like color coordination and all the aesthetics I think about as well. It just gives me self-confidence because like aside from planning with the photographer, I'm planning stuff like for myself, and like it's just a nice feeling. Like I can't wait to show this to my friends, and like I feel confident in my sense of fashion in a way, which is why I love just posting Instagram photos of myself. And like before that, like I would always be scared to take photos like with someone with a camera. Like I'm usually the one before to take selfies, for example. And then I would just post it on Facebook and like show my mom or something. So it's like an evolution type of deal, because I know my mom's like my number one supporter. But I think it was the fear of like, is anyone else gonna like judge me, or is anyone gonna be like, oh, like she's at it again, woo. But after getting out of that fear, after overcoming it, I realized that a lot of people come to me for fashion advice or kind of like outfit of the day, like, hey, like what should I wear type of deal. But obviously I'm not the one to control what they wear. I just ask the follow-up questions, like what are you feeling today, like what colors are you kind of feeling, like what are you gonna do today. So I feel like because of photo shoots and fashion and connection, they really do give me more self-confidence and just empowerment in general.
Yeah, I love that because I agree, like doing something that you like maybe were once scared of because of other people would judge you, but then getting the habit of like actually doing it and actually like starting to love it, I feel like it gives you that confidence. Like I totally agree. Like I used to like not want to ever like dye my hair because I was like, no, like I like good this way. And I feel like it's like wouldn't fit me. I feel like people would judge me, right? If I like dyed my hair. But again, during the pandemic, I guess spontaneous stuff happens. And then so my friends and I dyed like my hair, and it wasn't that like crazy or anything, but like I found that I really, really liked seeing myself in a different perspective. Like you don't really like get to have those chances where you like put yourself out there and like in a different light, and like usually you're just like in your own habit, like I don't know how to say this, like in your own like
Bubble.
Yeah, like your own
Yeah.
bubble. You don't really
Yeah.
like want to like explore and try to do different things. But yeah, I totally agree. That would really help with self-confidence, doing spontaneous things like that.
Like yeah, like it's like a learning process, right? Like this is part of overcoming this fear, like internally overcoming this fear so you can externally like be who you are and express who you are as a person. I think that's that's something that I struggled with too, as like when I was younger. I was just like, how can I be more confident? Like you look at like all like the YouTubers and like all these celebrities like just doing their own thing, and like it's really just, I think for me, like an internal thing where it's like I don't have to care what people think. Like they can like me, they can hate me, I don't care. As long as I like me and I can I'm free to express and say the things I want to, like that's where a lot of my confidence comes from. How about you, Darren?
Thank you. So okay, so I mean, I don't get me wrong, I feel very confident in myself as a person, right? But I will say there are some things that I have not like reached like state, like I haven't reached a certain stage, like as far as y'all, okay? Like I mean, as you know, like I don't post anything, I don't do any of that. I still kind of have to reach that stage as of yet, but I mean, yeah, that's really all I can say.
Hey, but I'm gonna tell you that that's okay, because like I think the stage you're talking about, I haven't reached it either. Like I'm so insecure about so many things. Like I'm so insecure in my body shape, my like hair length, like what I say. Like for the past like 2 years, like I had braces, so like that was something that I was really insecure about. I still am insecure about like my mouth in general, because like people like always comment on it, especially like the aunties and uncles. So like it's okay, like we're on this, like it's like a journey, right? So don't feel like you're behind. I don't want you to feel that way. Like I don't have it figured out at all. I am a mess. Like,
yeah, and I feel like everyone's at their own pace, so don't think that anyone is in front of you. Think of it as if everyone's with you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly.
yeah.
I know we were talking about fashion a little bit earlier, and someone asked, this is kind of like more of a fun question, but what's your favorite outfit to wear that would make you the most confident?
Honestly, it just depends on what I'm doing.
Mm.
Like if I'm heading to brunch with the girls, you know I'm gonna dress like all out with my girls, and I would plan like colors for us to like coordinate, or like kind of like matchy stuff, you know. Or if I just want to go to the beach to get some fresh air, like a good pair like of wide-legged like pants, or maybe a t-shirt and a jacket, you know. I feel like my outfits do involve or revolve around comfort as well. Like if I'm not feeling uncomfortable in this outfit, this is not the outfit I'm gonna wear, like to do whatever, you know. But if we're thinking of like in general, I feel like the ideal outfit for me would just be high-waisted jeans, like a loose shirt, and a jacket over it. You know, that's like the simplest but ideal outfit that I would typically wear. And everyone knows that I love high-waisted stuff. So if I'm not wearing anything high-waisted, you know that's a concern. You know that's kind of concerning.
I also love high-waisted stuff. It makes me feel more confident. Yeah. But I agree. Like I feel like I remember when I was a kid, like I was always so self-conscious and stuff. And even though it was like super hot in the summer, like I wouldn't want to wear skirts or like shorts or anything, or like tank tops and stuff like that, because I was like, like my legs and arms, like ew. And so like I kind of like sacrificed comfort for like, what other people would think about me. So I feel like that's really important when like choosing your outfit, and like having that self-confidence is like choosing your comfort over, you know, what people might think of you or something like that. Yeah.
I would say, I mean, okay, back in like high school, I had a zero sense of fashion whatsoever. It's obviously evolved. No, like it was pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. Like it was literally like jeans and like it's not even skinny jeans too. It was like just that and like a jacket over it. Cause like that was when I was like super overweight. So I was like super unconfident in myself. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
But it obviously, you know, it's evolved. I guess I could say it's like, if it's like spring, it'll be like you know, like a flannel, obviously, you know, flannel season.
Yes,
and then
course.
like yes and then like
I
guess like black skinny jeans and like Vans. I don't know, it's something like that. It's like something very basic. Yeah, but I feel like I can kind of diversify.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just remember, only you can control your own fashion sense, okay? Like you can look at inspirations and all that, but don't let anyone tell you what to wear.
Yeah, that's true.
Jared's gonna be the next influencer.
Yes.
Oh no. I gotta buy more clothes, and the money is
I can see that.
We'll come back to this conversation.
Y'all in the audience, though, you can look at our Instagram and look at Jaren's picture. You can see what he wore in the photo.
Hey, that was senior year. I have not changed it for 3 whole years. I kid you not, because I just Yes, that was when I was like super chunky. Like, man.
Y'all should watch our culture show because you had a really like good outfit. You had like
Yeah.
button up, the good belt, nice
Oh
pants.
yeah, I remember.
If y'all want to see the upgrade, watch
That's what's up.
our
We might do like a transformation type of deal, collage at the end.
Oh,
my
yes.
gosh. Love that. Oh my gosh. It'd be so funny. But yeah, check out our culture show, y'all. Just a plug, just but yeah, I think for me too, like the outfit that I'm most confident in is like, for me, like now, like I've been really into thrifting and like cottagecore stuff. So the thrill of like finding something for really cheap, and then it's like kind of ugly, right? Because it's kind of like grandma style, but like I would wear it anyways. Like those are the outfits that I love the most. So.
You'd wear it, but you own it,
Yeah, that's right. To own it.
I also haven't been enjoying thrifting, but not. I don't typically do in person. I usually do online thrifting, where people like buy their they thrift for me in a way, and then they just sell it on Instagram or something. But yeah, I feel like fashion in a way. My perspective in it has been like, I don't know. Has been changed throughout this whole pandemic because of so many like different things like fashion versus thrifting, but yeah, I feel like I definitely am more confident in myself in myself in like fashion just because of the pandemic. Like I've had so much time like building Pinterest boards and like just planning different outfits for like the spring and for the summertime.
Okay, so do we have any advice for people who are maybe struggling with self-confidence? I know we talked about a lot like what we do and stuff for self-confidence and self-love, but do you have any words for people who may be struggling with it?
Jaren, take it away.
I see. Always like, what's it called? Don't let people define you. Be who you want to be. I've learned this. I've learned this through the years. Like, just honestly, just screw it. Like, don't worry about, like, don't be judged by other people if you can.
Wise words, Jaren.
In addition to that, I think the one advice that I've always followed for myself is just prioritizing yourself. Like, don't let anyone like make plans for you. Like, make plans for yourself. Yeah, and take advantage of any time that you have in your hands, and do whatever that you want and that you love, because maybe in the future, like, you don't have that time. So time is very cherishable. Like, you have to take advantage of any time that you have for yourself.
Yeah, and going off that, I feel like it's okay if you need like space from other people to do that. Like deleting social media or something, or like just telling your friends, hey, sorry, I'm not gonna be like in contact for a little while. Just like need a break for myself, need to think for myself. I feel like that's totally okay to do. Something I feel like people should do too.
Yeah, totally agree. I think for me, like just speaking to, like, if I was to talk to myself like when I was like 16 and just like totally not confident in myself, like so insecure about everything, I would just tell her that like you'll get there eventually. I think when I was younger, I was really stressed about like wanting to reach this certain like point in my life where like I was like, okay, but I think for me it wasn't like looking back on it now, like I didn't need to stress about it because it's like a learning process, right? And like I eventually got here. I don't know how the heck I got here, but I got here, and like I'll continue to grow. And I think that like if you're feeling like you're not confident, it's like, again, like what Kathy and Alexis and Jared said, like it'll like come within you, it'll be just from you, not from other people, and like you got this. Like you have all the answers within you. So
I love that. Okay, if no one else has any other comments, thank you, Kathy, for sharing this topic and your insights with us. And I think this is a great conversation to have, either with others or even with yourself. So that wraps up today's podcast on the segment of self-love. Please keep safe. We love you. And if you're interested in hearing more topics discussed by our officers or members, tune in to next week's podcast. Thank you. Okay, we stop recording.